Hey friends, welcome back to the homestead. It's sometime in the middle of June. I don't know if it's the 13th or the 14th or the 12th or whatever. I have no idea, but this is your June homestead update, and once again we're starting in the hoop coop and just giving you a view of my single surviving American breast chicken. I'm starting to get the feeling this is a female, so that's very good news. More egg layers is more better. I only need one rooster. So I've got some more eggs on order, but they're way back order. It might be another month or two before I get them. So in the meantime, this beautiful lady here is kind of skittish. She's by herself, and but she's getting big and beautiful. You can see her telltale American breast blue legs. Let's see if I can get her to stand on my hand here without jumping down. You get an idea how big she is. She's so big and meaty and beautiful. I'm not going to eat her, obviously. I'm going to keep her for the eggs. And then I'm going to, once we get some roosters and some other hens, I'm going to take those eggs and incubate them. There you go, Mama. Incubate those eggs and raise those to harvesting age and eat those. So the plan is to have a breeding stock of American breasts and then incubate and enjoy their eggs and their offspring. So hey, let's take you over to the chickens. I don't really give you a shot of the chicken pen too much. During the week, I tend not to let them free range while I'm at work. No one's here to supervise, and I think it was Off Grid with Doug and Stacy. Doug did a recent video where he's talking about, he's putting up a fence and he's talking about the number one killer of homestead livestock is domestic dogs. And I have had problems with domestic dogs before. And so before I let them out, I'll give you a shot of the old chicken pen here. And he said that, he made a good point. He said, and especially during tough times, people in the more populated areas will bring their dogs and their animals out to the country here and drop them off and just leave them because they can't take care of them anymore and times get tough, and so you end up with an influx of it happens anyway during tough times or not, like some of these ignorant butthole people get dogs and decide they don't want them, so they just leave them, they just drop them off in the middle of nowhere and hope somebody, I don't know, they just leave it to chance completely. So it's really messed up, but it's a fact of it's just, you know, a fact of life out here. So I don't know if you've seen my chicken pen before, but I took 16-foot horse panels and cut them into 8-foot pieces, and I made an 8x8 box for the chickens here. There's 9 chickens right now, and I have 3 more in the brooder I'm going to add, and I'll show you those in a second. But believe it or not, these 1x3 holes in the horse paneling were not small enough to keep predators out of here. I could not believe it. I made this, I thought I had it locked down like Fort Knox, and my original flock of birds that I had when I moved out here got absolutely decimated. So my buff Worthington rooster, his name is Big Earn. He is the last survivor of my original flock when we moved down here. So all these other chickens are new. So we're going to let them out for an hour or two. Big Earn is a crower. He likes to crow. And then in here, I just took a branch that I cut down, or a sapling tree, like about 1.5 inches wide, and I just kind of like slid it in between the holes there to make a perch for them. And got their water over here, and this is their egg laying box. And they laid 6 eggs for me today. I have 8 laying hens, and there's 6 hens. I made this all out of a repurposed material. And actually 3 sides of the chicken pen, the horse panels, were repurposed too. We did an addition on an animal shelter, and we had to take some stuff down to build the addition. And one thing that they did have was some horse paneling. So my boss took half and I took the other half, and I built my chicken coop out of it. So one thing I'm going to show you over here, and I don't think I've showed you before, is my little orchard. First of all, over here, this is an avocado tree. It's called Fantastic, and it's in a planter because until it gets its real true bark, it's very, very frost sensitive. It'll be cold hardy down to about 15 degrees once it gets its true bark. But until then, I'm going to need to be able to move it in and out of the cold during the winter time. And then eventually I'll plant it in the little orchard area I have here. This is Kratom. It's a red vein Kratom. It's not looking too happy right now, but I threw some fertilizer in it and it's starting to come back to life. Kratom is a relative of the coffee family, if you don't know, and it has lots of medicinal properties. The red vein is a really excellent painkiller, and back when that thing was making some big beautiful leaves during the summertime, I used to just grab a couple and chew on them, and I definitely felt the effects of it. So I'm working on this area. I got it bordered with some logs, and little by little, I'm just dumping some grass clippings along the border, and I'm going to fill in the center, just to make it look nice and everything. And whenever I have some animal feed bags, like some dog food bags or some chicken feed bags that are plastic, I'll put it on the ground and put the grass over top of it as a weed barrier. So over here we have a Meyer lemon tree. It's kind of small and bushy right now. There's a couple lemons on it. I have an olive tree right there that I accidentally ran over with my lawnmower. Real smart, but it's still alive. I just cut it way back. I got a little fig tree right here that's getting started, and then I have my peach tree. Has a couple of peaches on it. I just bought it this year, so I don't expect anything. But yeah, and then I have a hazel tree that will make hazelnuts. That I'm going to transplant in there pretty soon when I get the time. And then here are the 3 little bitties that I hatched myself. I took the eggs out of their box and put them in the incubator, and I got 3 chickens. Hopefully there's 3 hens, but hopefully no more than 1 rooster out of the 3. I don't know. But it's the cross of my Buff Orpington rooster and the black Australorp hens that I have, and those are 2 really strong egg-laying varieties of chicken. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they'll make some beautiful chickens and make some beautiful eggs. Times are getting crazy, so I need more egg production. You know, going back to the American breast, another thing that had occurred to me is if things get really wild, which I think they will at some point, I might not have power here. So how am I going to incubate eggs without power to run my incubator? And I looked up ways to incubate eggs without power, and the options were not good. Because it has to be kept at a consistent, very high temperature, like 99.5 degrees. And if it drops below that or goes above that for more than an hour or 2, it really will kill the embryos. I'm really surprised that I even got that 1 chicken out of the dozen that I tried to incubate, because if you might remember, if you're watching, the fellow, I'll just use nice language, who installed my internet, unplugged my incubator to plug my router and my modem in, and did not tell me that he unplugged the incubator. So the eggs went unincubated for 12 hours, and we had some very developed embryos that were not alive, and it was very sad. But that's my survivor, and I'm really thankful it's a female, because that's 1 less rooster out of the next batch that I get that I'll have to eat. Let's come over here to the compost system. You can see my compost system is still doing fantastic. There is no fertilizer shortage here, guys. So to recap, this is the ultimate compost system. I got it from Rodale's Organic. You're going to find it on the Good Housekeeping website for some reason. but it says it's from Rodale's Organic. So they built theirs out of cedar wood, cedar, lumber. I don't know where to get cedar lumber around here, if at all, and it's expensive. So I just grabbed some pallets from a job I was doing. They didn't want them. I took 7 pallets, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, made 3 chambers. Your first chamber here, you put just raw grass clippings, and so this has grass clippings and fallen leaves, my kitchen scraps. It has chicken manure, lots of chicken. I put a whole bunch of chicken manure in there yesterday, and rabbit manure, and it's all kind of layered in there, and we water it and we let it. And I'm going to continue to build this over the next probably 2 or 3 weeks, and then in about 6 weeks, I will turn that pile into this pile, and you can see this is much more advanced in its decomposition. Not quite ready yet. There's still plenty of grass that needs to decompose, and there's probably plenty of food scraps and probably rabbit carcasses in there that really need to decompose some more. And then this is your pretty much finished product. I've been moving this into the garden as of late. There's some bones in there, and and every once in a while maybe an avocado skin that hasn't finished breaking down yet. But for the most part, it's really, really good, especially with all the manure in there. So I've been really, really pumping that into the garden, because I had kind of a fool's hope that the raised beds would be productive the way I needed them to be right off the bat, because they were raised beds, and I imported a whole bunch of soil. But truth be told, even with 10 bags of soil, so 200 cubic feet of soil I put in a 100 square foot garden bed. Do the math there. It's not really a lot. It's like a 2 to 3 inch layer of soil, and then the rest of it's down below it is just the original soil, which it wasn't fantastic. So I'm going to have to keep on broad forking it. I'm going to have to keep on adding compost, and eventually, probably by next year, I'll have some really, really fantastic, productive garden beds. I'll show you. I'm about 50-50 success rate. So I can see my rabbits are not really interested in all the grass that I've been giving them, but maybe they'll chew on it eventually. This is one of my mamas. She's feisty. She bit me yesterday. Not hard or anything. Didn't hurt me or anything. So we just mated her with our New Zealand white buck over there. And if you remember my May update, this little black one here is the only survivor of her last litter. I don't know what happened. At the time, she had some red mites in her ear, and I think that caused her to reject her litter. So she dumped about 6 or 7 babies out onto the ground, and we didn't realize, and they were all gone by the time we found them out. So this is my New Zealand buck. He's big and beautiful. And this is my soon to be added to the freezer kit. I'm going to do that this weekend. One of these brown babies here is a female, and we're going to keep her as the 3rd doe in our breeding stock. So there are 9 rabbits here, so we'll harvest 8 of them and keep one and mate her. And here's my my New Zealand doe here, and she just had babies a couple of days ago. We got 8 little delicious bunny nuggets, and you can see obviously that that the father is my New Zealand white over there. They're all white, and this is Rex. He is a New Zealand Rex cross, and we just mated him with the black New Zealand that I showed you, the first rabbit. So we're about to have 3 does and 2 bucks, and that should really give us a lot of meat, which we're going to need, because in case you didn't notice, I went to go get chicken today, and the entire chicken aisle was just decimated. All they had was like drumsticks from I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Sanderson Farms, but it's not the healthiest brand of chicken in the world at all. So we are finishing up in the garden, and we're kind of in a transitional phase mostly. We'll start at the very back here. My pineapple guavas have come to life for the most part and are doing pretty well. A couple of them are a little stunted still, but they're doing much better than last year. Some of my moringa trees have come back, so that'll be rabbit feed. And these deer flies, boy. This grass here is called sorghum, and that is a very hot weather grain. That is excellent for chicken feed. So got a whole big giant row of that. Might have planted it a little too thick, I don't know, but it looks healthy, it looks good. Gave it a lot of compost. My cucumbers are finally coming around and making some cucumbers. I've been doing a lot of pickles. I've never made my own pickles until this year, so I was really excited to make pickles. And I've really been enjoying those. So this bed here used to be, these next 3 beds used to be my winter fall greens, so all of my collard greens and kale and everything, and I cleared the rest. I cleared cleared the rest of that out yesterday and planted corn. So we have in this bed, I've got half a bed of purple whole peas for protein, a half a bed of corn. These are buckwheat, and I'm really proud of this because I did not buy these seeds. I bought seeds and planted them in the last bed over there, and then I harvested those seeds and planted some here. I also planted some over there next to the sorghum, and more purple whole peas and some corn coming up, looking okay. More corn here, more sorghum. I've got sunflowers, purple whole peas. I planted sunflowers here that I harvested from my Hopi black dye that I planted back in the wintertime. This is quinoa. I'm going to try and harvest this weekend and see what I got. It'll probably be similar to the Hopi black dye and the buckwheat, where I didn't really get a lot from planting what I bought because I didn't get a lot of seeds. But harvesting all of this, I'm going to have a lot of seeds, and that way when it gets cool again and I plant it, I'll be able to plant a lot more. So, and that'll be an excellent source of protein and nutrients for the chickens. I don't personally eat it because I'm in a keto paleo diet. So I do love quinoa, but I don't eat it. Over here we have some onion flour, which I'm looking forward to. I probably can harvest that this weekend, so I won't have to. I wasn't expecting it to be that easy. I've got another onion flower over there too in the other bed. Wasn't expecting it to be that easy to harvest onion seeds. I was kind of afraid of that because there's certain things like carrots. Carrots are real difficult to save seeds from. But if I can figure out how to save seeds from carrots, it'll be great to have those around when I can't buy the seeds anymore. My medicinal herb garden is kind of crappy, but I got some nice looking lemongrass on it, that I don't know what to do with. I got some mullein growing in. I bought 4 comfrey cuttings, root cuttings, and I only got 1 plant. This is blue spiced basil, and my cilantro has gone to seed. I've got some sage. I believe this is bergamot bee balm. It looks like an interesting looking plant, but I don't know what it's doing yet. And you might remember I tried to plant some turmeric that I got at the grocery store, and it did not germinate. So I bought like some legit turmeric from online, and I planted that yesterday right here. So we're gonna get some real turmeric. The asparagus bed's still looking beautiful. And these are the Hopi black dye sunflowers. Got lots of stink bugs on them, but not really enough to feed my chickens. But after I harvest all of these, I'll have lots of seeds to grow next year, and I'll be growing many of those. These are my cosmic purple carrots. Boy, do they look beautiful, but they're tiny little carrots. I was kind of disappointed in that. The artichokes are struggling a bit in the summer heat, as is my squash. You might remember I had to pull up all of my squash plants and replant them. They just weren't very happy. They weren't making any fruit for sure. And You know, I planted them in late May or middle of May, and it just wasn't good at all. So one success that I am having, along with my cucumbers, is my tomatoes. I haven't had a lot of time to stake these and trellis these the way I wanted to, so they're kind of getting all over the place now. But I'm getting, like, before I made this video, I ate like 3 tomatoes. They're fantastic. These are Cherokee Purple. And pro tip, if you want to grow organic tomatoes without pesticides, check them daily, and if they're just starting to turn color, pick them and stick them on your countertop, and they'll ripen on their own. Peppers, mixed success. My jalapenos should be dripping with jalapenos, and each one only has 1 or 2. Finally turning red. That's exciting. Big beautiful cherry red jalapeno. My poblanos, I've not made a single poblano. Very disappointing. Big beautiful plants, the biggest beautiful, most beautiful plants in the whole garden, the whole pepper garden, but not a single poblano. There's hardly any flowers. It's like, what are you doing? My bell peppers are finally starting to make bell peppers. We've got some serrano peppers looking really good. Serrano, I used to take the serrano and smoke those with the jalapeno and mix that with my chipotle seasoning, and that came out really good. The Anaheim peppers are really big and beautiful, and if I had some poblano peppers, I would make some green chili. So I guess I'll have to buy some poblano peppers from the store. The Cajun bell peppers are really doing well, and I have another red jalapeno. That's cool. And I have quite a few red cayenne peppers too. So, and here's something kind of cool. I don't know if these are hybrid or not. I'm gonna have to look it up. But I got this. They're called Purple Beauty bell peppers, or something like that. So I might save the seed from that if it's an heirloom. If not, then no big deal. As you can see, this squash bed is pretty much decimated. And over here is what's left of my buckwheat, and I have more seeds. Still a little bit of flowering going on, so I'm leaving it there. I'm gonna harvest some more seeds. And this is the very advanced purple hull seeds. You can see, get close for you. You can see like so many seeds. So I'm probably gonna be able to fill a 5-gallon bucket with all these seeds, with all these peas, and that's really outstanding. That gives me hope that I can actually produce enough food to feed my chickens when things go down, because that's my biggest worry right now. Like, if I have to turn this entire garden into a chicken feed garden, I will, because I would love to have kale and broccoli and tomatoes and all that kind of stuff, but truth be told, if I feed my rabbits and my chickens and make them healthy, they will have very nutritious meat for me that will give me most of the things that I need to be healthy. So, and finally in this bed I have my sunchokes, also known as Jerusalem artichokes. Big and beautiful. Looks like they might be getting ready to flower, so that's really cool. They're a relative of the sunflower, if you don't know. Except they don't make seeds that I know of, but what they do is grow my wife just made me very immature. Just kidding. But what they do is they grow potato-like tubers under the ground, which are a fantastic calorie crop for you to have, and I don't intend to really eat them unless I really need to. And if I really need to, it's good to have them here because they're almost impossible to get rid of once you planted them. I got an aphid or something on my arm. And then finally, at the end of this bed, this is where I planted my turmeric, which didn't do anything. But a friend of ours gave us some organic ginger, which started to sprout, little green shoots. So I planted that in the ground, and it looks like almost all of them are sprouting. So we're going to have some ginger root as well. So with the ginger and the turmeric, I'm just going to dehydrate those and grind them in the coffee grinder and make a powder out of them for seasonings. Because I don't eat, especially ginger. I don't use ginger an awful lot, so I want that. So I'm going to preserve it that way by dehydrating and grind it into a powder, and then I can use it whenever I want. So that's really cool. Oh, it's hot, guys. Really hot. If you're in the southern states, you've been roasting this week. It's not good. We're in the mid 90s right now. It's going to be in the high 90s next week. And I work outdoors, so you might notice I have a little bit of a tan since the last time you saw me. So I think I covered everything at the homestead, guys. Everything is progressing along and coming to a head about the same time that everything's coming to head in the rest of the world. I'm getting plenty of eggs. I'm getting lots of rabbits. And hopefully in a couple months I can get my chicken started and get a meat chicken production going on. And that will that'll probably realistically provide me about 5 days worth of meat per week. And then the other 2 I can hunt or fish or eat eggs, whatever. That'll do really well for me if once there's no food available at the stores, which I believe is imminent. It's already started, really. Like I said, there's no chicken on the shelves, and it's absolutely horrifying to walk into the store and just see no chicken. It's like an apocalypse, and a chicken apocalypse. And I'm hearing stories that eggs are going to be $1 an egg, not $1 a dozen like they used to be. $1 an egg, $12 a dozen. And I've never done the feed to egg ratio that that I produce here on the homestead, but I get about 4 dozen eggs a week, and I probably spend about $24 a month, maybe every 6 weeks, on organic chicken feed. So I don't know, do the math on that. I'm not going to, but it's still pretty good, and my eggs are way far superior than anything you're going to find at any store. And yeah, so that's it for this month, guys. And I got a real bad feeling that next month things are gonna be really, really serious, and then each month after that it's gonna be more and more serious. That's the stuff that I pay attention to. The stuff about where things are going, and things are not going good. And I'm hearing that it might be 6 to 9 months before you get to the point where you won't be able to do anything to save yourself. There won't be any food to store. There won't be, you won't have time to start a homestead and get it under control and get it under wraps. This takes time, guys. This is a big learning curve with all this stuff. It took me 3 to 4 years before I could garden and get any kind of serious thing going on here. So, rabbits are a little bit easier. Start watching some YouTube videos on how to do that. And chickens for eggs are super easy. You just got to keep them away from predators and give them clean food and water without stop. They cannot ever not have clean food and water. Real simple. Don't let them get eaten. So, but you're running out of time, guys. So I'm not trying to scare you. This is the tornado siren going off. This is the weatherman telling you that the Category 5 hurricane is about to make landfall and you need to evacuate. This is not doom and gloom. It's not a prediction. This has already happened. Like a nuclear bomb is going off and you're just waiting for the blast wave to hit you. You know what I mean? Like it's not a prediction. It has happened already. So you have to, and you're fortunate enough that you had a little bit of time. If you have any money or resources, anything that you can sell to make money, any stocks, bonds, assets, or anything that you can dump for cash and invest it in something like this, or at least some storable food for a few years. Preparewithalex.com is a fantastic site to go to. He gets the best discounts on quality storable food. But do something to prepare yourself, guys, and get with your neighbors and your family, because we're going through hell together, guys. Honest to God. So anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry for the rant at the end there, and I will talk to you next month. Love you guys.